Hey, G. How are you?
Right, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for taking the time to come to the afterthought. This is simply about asking a couple questions I probably should have asked in a moment. I took a
Uh-huh.
moment to look at it and review it. And I said, I should have asked her that. I should have asked her this. You know what I mean? And so I'm
Right.
going to ask you now. Like, these are my thoughts afterwards, and I would love to hear your responses.
Okay.
And you, your video has been the most popular video.
Wow. What a
Yeah.
blessing.
What a blessing.
Hopefully it blessed somebody. That's
Yes,
good.
I believe it did.
Oh,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
that's so good.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So
Um,
the first question I wanted to ask you, and Sean was here and I did not ask.
mm-hmm,
So, but before I go to Sean, I'm going to come back and I want to ask you this question. And this
mm-hmm,
might be a dumb question, but I got to ask you this. Okay.
mm-hmm.
And people probably say, why are you going to answer that question? She's probably, okay. So here's the question. What's
Uh,
been the lowest point in your life?
mm. That's a good question. Mm. Ugh. The lowest point in my life was the stroke. That's all I could think of. I mean, that was it because when it happened, I was working full time. I was on uh, at a good job, making decent money, good work money. That's how I'm gonna say that. And so after the stroke, I didn't have a job, and then I had to fight for Social Security, had to fight for disability. So that left me in a place where I didn't have any money. I mean, I didn't have enough saved up. I had some, but before you know it, you go through that money. And Sean was the only breadwinner, and I had the help from my family, thank God, and her family, help us get through some of those tough times. But it was a really tough time, because you're trying to heal and then you're thinking about bills and I'm the stress is on her too because
Mm-hmm.
she's
Mm-hmm.
trying to take care of me and make sure I have everything that I need and then she's going to work every day and but she took off she was able to take short-term leave
Mm-hmm.
to take care of me um but that was the lowest point. I mean, I've never thought, sometimes people say you're like a paycheck or two away from being
Mm-hmm.
in a dire situation. It didn't never hit me like that before. I didn't
Got you.
realize it like, wow, you never know what can happen. And then you like depleted your bank account, and you're like, I'm at a point where I have to ask for help, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I
Mm-hmm.
can say that was my lowest point that took me that I didn't know it was gonna take me to my highest level.
Ah, I'm so upset with you.
You're what?
I'm so upset with you because my next question was, what did you learn? What did you learn? What after that lowest point, right? I was gonna ask, what was it? What did you find out that was possible in your life, like for yourself? Like even a better question. Who is Gina? What makes Gina so different from the Gina before the stroke and after the stroke?
Oh, okay. Before the stroke, I was pretty anxious. I had a lot of anxiety about different things, um, some insecurities about my job and what I wanted to do, and not thinking about um, you're talented, Gina. You got the Lord on your side. You got a supportive family, a supportive partner, and I didn't think like that because you're living for the moment. I felt like I was living for the moment. Like every day is like sometimes, let me say this, me and Sean say it all the time. We're gonna write this book about managers because managers at your job, they don't realize the um, the weight that they carry on their employees, um, just just by who they are. and their motives and their personalities and what they come to work with. You know, if they come to work and they're in a bad day, having a bad day or a bad situation at home, 9 times out of 10, you're going to feel that. And then
Mm-hmm.
you start to absorb it. And then you start
Mm-hmm.
thinking, okay, it's me. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
can't
Mm-hmm.
do this because I know she's in the mood. Or, it's things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And that, a lot of that made me feel like, okay, I need my job. I got to do this. I can't go without a job. I need money. I need to pay my bills. I need to do that. I need to do that. And I didn't see then all that I see about me now, where I feel like the Lord has given me gifts and talents that I had then, but I never had a chance to put them out because I was working and I had to go to work. And I was just insecure about certain things. So after the stroke and where I am now, I still have some reservations about some things, but my faith has increased. And I wanted to say this the other day too, that when I say that I have faith, it doesn't mean that sometimes it doesn't waver. It
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
wavers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Of
It's like
course.
I have to sit down in a quiet spot and, Lord, just it's in the Bible. Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief. Help
Mm.
that part of me that so scared that I
Mm-hmm.
don't even have the size of a mustard seed faith. So sometimes I go through that, but now it's like I just constantly say to myself, God is your source, Gina. That's it. That's it. That's all. Whatever happens, it's gonna work out. I didn't have that attitude before. Now I have that attitude. Whatever is gonna happen, you're gonna be okay. And I'm not saying I'm going to be okay because I have a supportive family that loves me and I have a supportive partner who loves me. It's because I know that everything that he gives me through somebody is him. So that's why it's like I'm so high off of that. Like I really am, and I didn't have it beforehand. And now I feel more secure after writing my book. You know, it it gave me, I mean, sometimes I'm at work and I walk past the office and I see my book and I'm like, that's my book. Oh my gosh. I wrote that book that's on her desk. Or somebody may come to work and say, I'm almost finished, Gina. I'm almost done, and it's like, oh my goodness. So I have a lot more um I feel good about myself.
Mm.
I feel good about myself, and not in a vain way, not anything that's physical, but it's just like we're gonna keep on pushing. We're gonna keep on going because I know that it's gonna work out by the grace of God. And like I said, my faith wavers. Trust me. I'm crying and Lord, but don't remember you said this, and I did this, but it's still not working, or I messed up. I need to come back to a place where, and I do that now, and I didn't do that before. That's the biggest thing. I have much more um, belief that things are going to be okay. As before, I was filled with anxiety, like, what am I going to do? And then you know, I call my family and Sean, my prayer partners, like, y'all got to pray because I'm nervous. I don't know what to do, or or I'm down today. And sometimes you have to tell people how much percentage you can give them for the day. And sometimes if I'm going through something and nobody knows about it, I may tell Sean, I only got 25% for you today. Because that other 75 from work got me. So I need to think, I need to do this and I need to do that. And sometimes you have to tell people what you have available for them. And I didn't have that. I mean, I think more on the lines of, okay, you can help this person, but you know how they always say on an airplane, put your mask on first.
Mm-hmm.
and then you can
Mhm.
help that other person, you know.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I try to stay healthy so when I go home and be with my mom, I take my sister goes on vacation and I'll stay with my mom. I'm thinking, okay, I can't get COVID. Okay, I'm not going there
Mhm.
this weekend because so you I don't know, I just feel like I'm more open to doing different things, and this right here is different for me. This podcast being on video and exposing things, but it's all about giving God the glory, like I told you before.
I totally receive it, G. Let me ask you. Let me ask you. Do
Hmm.
you think you would have written a book if you didn't have the stroke?
Yes,
Okay.
I I do. I think that it would have taken probably longer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It would have taken longer, because of the time, and also because of uh, I wasn't really sure, about, like I told you before, I was writing a book about female athletes, football players, and I would write it, and I wrote it like 5 or 6 chapters, and then I put it down like, I don't know. I'm a book reader. So if I'm not into it, they're not going to be into it. And I'm the writer. So I was I was back and forth with so many different things that I think it would have taken longer because it was something that was just inside of me. I've been saying I've been wanting to write a book. I have friends from old jobs that I had 20 years ago and say, "You finally wrote that book you've been talking about."
Right.
I'm
Awesome.
like, yeah, I forgot that I've been telling the world that I'm going to write a book. Yeah, so I think I would have written it, but it was taking longer.
Got it. Got it. I'm hearing you say you trust yourself more, you trust your intuition, and you're more at peace.
Oh,
Things
yeah.
don't move you the same as they did before.
Hmm. They really don't. And I have a very low tolerance now,
Mm-hmm.
with I I have a low tolerance for people when I see something and it just doesn't feel right to me. And I don't care how close you are to me. I don't care if we've been friends forever. I don't care if it's certain people that I love so much. If I see certain behaviors, I push away. I mean, Sean tells me that's not a good thing. You just can't throw people away. I'm not throwing them away. I just have to put them in a place where you can't get that close to me. If you, like, say for instance, a friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
she posts something on Facebook, and she called me one day and she said, "Hey, I posted this on Facebook book, and one of my friends said, I don't know, but to me, you just regular. I don't know why these people are giving you all of that." So that bothered her. That bothered me to the 10th power, and it wasn't even me. And I said, you know what? And this was one of her good friends. So to use that as an example, I said, can you take that? Was that something you can take? Is that something you can say, "Oh, I'm not worried about her. She's just my friend." She said, "Well, I know that she cares about me. And I know if you're my friend and you say, I don't know what it is about you, but these people are giving you all this love on Facebook and you're my friend, you won't be my friend after that." Because that means for me, like I heard Oprah say, if you're envious or jealous of me, you can't be my friend. You're not going to want the best for me. And I believe that wholeheartedly. You are not going to want the best for me. And I had to explain that to her, like, think about it. We're not we're not friends with people because we need quantity. It's the quality. If you got four good ones, hallelujah.
You're lucky. You're lucky.
It are. It's not when I was growing up. Yeah, it's like, oh, I got friends over
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
friends over there, but they start dropping off. Like the older I get, they drop off, or I drop them off. You know what I mean? It's just as simple as that, and it's a lot more. I have a lot more freedom about protecting myself. Like I feel more like I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to put up with that. Like, oh no, I don't, I don't need anything from them. And it's a shame, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's like I know that right now in my life, I don't have all the friends that I used to have, my
Mm-hmm.
so-called friends, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay. And if I see them, I love them up. Hey, how you doing? How's your family, your kids, your mom, however? Um, but it's good just like that. And I that's how it's called my peaceful space. You have to have one. Everybody has to have one. It's a peaceful space. And if you don't, everybody's just going to start coming in, and they're going to
Yep.
be okay because they know that they're affecting you some kind of way by their words or by their discouragement. And it's a really, people are cruel.
Oh.
They are cruel. Some people are, so
Yeah.
you have to be able to protect yourself, you know. I hope I answered that question, didn't go off too far.
No, no, no. I mean, what I
Okay.
really hear you saying is that I have boundaries.
I
People
have
can't do and
boundaries.
say things to me like they used to. And if I find that you're not who I think you are, then I put
Hmm.
you in a place. I put you at arm's length. Peace
Right.
be with you.
Yep.
I receive that
Yeah.
100%. I get that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
because that's really about self love. Like, I don't have
Oh,
to tolerate certain things in my life
yep.
any longer. Actually,
Yep.
I never did, but now I'm at the point that I realize that I don't.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's a freedom. It's like I don't have to deal with that anymore. And I can just be okay,
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like in a world of Facebook where you don't know who's telling the truth or who's not telling the truth. It doesn't even matter to me. If you put a picture up there and I like it, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy for her. Like, love, whatever. But it doesn't make me or break me if you decide not to say nothing about my picture or nothing about my family or nothing about, whatever. It doesn't bother me. But I know that by working at the school and with the
Hmm.
high school kids, that's so important.
Hmm.
And a lot of it is not who they are, but it gives them something to say, okay, oh, whew, they like my hair. Oh, they like my nails, or they like, me having a good time, knowing that that's not really not how, 9 times out of 10, that's not how they are really living. Yeah,
It's
but boundaries
unfortunate.
is the one.
As you talk about the high school and the kids there and how social media has really affected, it has so much to do with their mental health. And being a young person, it
Yes.
has a lot to do with them possibly having insecurities that they don't need to have
Right.
because they're so busy trying to be something that they're not. And
Exactly.
and they don't communicate. Everything is text and
Right. I mean,
and you can read a text anyway. You can read anything you want into a text, right?
right.
And
Anything.
yeah, that's as brilliant as they are now, as they come out running,
Hmm.
emotionally, they are at a disadvantage.
Oh yeah.
And that's the sad part,
It
right?
really is a
um
big disadvantage.
you know uh, it's imperative to that emotional connection, just being able to connect with people and
Right.
being able to communicate and express yourself and not hide
Exactly.
behind a text or
Yeah.
a Facebook post or TikTok post or whatever post you're hiding behind or trying to
Right.
prove, instead of being your authentic self. That's the one
Yeah.
thing that I think social media takes away from you. It
It
takes
really
away your
does.
emotional intelligence and giving you an opportunity to be your authentic self.
Right.
But that's
It
that's
really
just my opinion. my next question is, you've spoken highly of Sean, your partner,
Uh-huh.
and she supported you through your recovery. Could
Uh-huh.
you tell me more about how important it was just to have a partner there to support you?
Mm. It was so important. And sometimes you can't, life goes on. You get up in the morning and you just do your routine, and you come home and you do your routine, and you never think about anything like, okay, yeah, she'll be home and I'll be home and we'll go take,
Right.
whatever, our normal routine. But you can't take it for granted. And I try not to. I didn't think I took it for granted before, but I really don't take it for granted now. And
Mm,
I look at, not only am I able now to take care of myself, but I'm constantly making sure that she's okay too.
mm,
You know what I mean? It has to be kind of balanced, where it's not all about me. It was all about me when I couldn't help myself. But now it's like, even then I was like, are you okay? Are you taking care of yourself? Because she was just coming and going, and I was just, being at home, or, but it was just so important, and so grateful to God that she is in my life, and that she is. But one thing I definitely want to say, she did this for me, but the person that a lot of people don't know, she would do it for anybody.
mm,
She has that heart
mm.
that she wants to help. I mean, she is a great friend, and and she just has that heart to help. You need me to do this, I can do that, or I can. She's always suggesting. She's in the fashion, so she can tell you how to dress. I can go find that for you. If you can help me out, if you want me to, I can do this, I can do that. So she is a very loving, kind person that it was this was easy for her, because that's who she genuinely is. And I
Me too.
saw that before, before the stroke. I knew that. I knew what kind of person that she was.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it's very important, and I'm very grateful, because a lot of people don't have that, and I don't take it for granted. You know what I mean? I
I
don't.
do.
I don't look at it like, oh, things are great and they're never going. No, we have our same ups and downs, and we push through. And communication is the key. You know, hard, uncomfortable, but we get through it. But yeah,
Honest.
I'm so grateful. I am so grateful to have her in my life, to make those decisions for me, and it wasn't like my family couldn't come down and assist her. It was just a lot going on, but they were so grateful too. Like, oh
Right.
my goodness, because it was Sean, it was my niece, and it was my cousin. They're living here at the time, and
Hmm.
they were giving her a break, and just helping her out. But I know that um I know that she has that, just that good heart and that good spirit that a lot of people don't get to know about her. But she is I'm getting something that I know she would do for anybody. But I'm grateful that it's happening to me, that I'm on the other
On the
end of
receiving.
it, and the receiving end of it. Yes.
Got it. I got it. I truly
She's
received that.
amazing. Yeah.
My next question is, how do you manage your health and stress now? How do you do the deal with that differently?
Um, let's see. I pray I pray more. Sometimes I use, how you have those quick prayers.
Hmm.
I take my time and pray in the morning before I go to work. I may still be in the bed, and I wake up and I'm just talking to the Lord, or um, I write a lot. I've always written in a journal for a long time. I still have like maybe 45 or 50 here,
Wow.
um, that I've been writing for so long. And I write my thoughts out. And I'm not afraid to hold back anymore. If I'm feeling something uncomfortable, um, I'm not afraid to say it, and I'm not afraid of the outcome. If I say something that I don't want to keep bottled up inside of me, you know.
Mm. Can you
And
say can you say
hmm,
that again? I mean, because I just want people to be able to hear that you're not
okay,
afraid to communicate.
no, I'm not afraid to communicate my feelings anymore, good, bad, or indifferent. Because at this point in my life, I don't have to curse you out. I don't have to fight you. I can fight you with my words in a way that you'll understand that, okay, Gina's not playing, or she doesn't care anymore, unfortunately. Or it's like, I'm just not afraid to communicate how I feel. And before I used to keep it bottled up. If I can look back and I can look in my journals and I can see where I wrote how I was feeling. And that was my defense mechanism. I could just let me go write it. And you know, Sean is not a snooper. So I was able to write whatever I want to write and, feel however I wanted to feel. But now I'm not afraid to communicate anymore. I may write it, but I can also say, this is how I feel. And I'm not comfortable with that. Or I don't like the way you said this to me. And I think we need to talk about that. It could be my family member, it could be my friend. I don't like certain things. I see people, they deal with it and they want to continue to deal with it. Me, I'm not going to do it. And I mean, it's a load. It's not easy though. When I'm talking, when I tell you it takes so much to think about the consequence, Gina. Like, to me, it's like, okay, you ready to just say how you feel, but what if it breaks up the whole friendship? Or what if you and a family member stop talking because of this, like a distant cousin or a cousin or something like that? But I'm not afraid of what the outcome might be, because either you take it in a loving way, or you understand. First of all, you have to understand why I'm saying this to you, because obviously it's bothering me. So if it doesn't bother me and I don't care, I may not say nothing, but it depends on who it is. Because I told you this before, Brene Brown, where she said you have to pay attention to whose opinions matter. And that's what I have to do. And in spite of me being so, I'm going to open and I'm going to tell you how I feel, their opinion may not matter. Depends on who it is. If it's my mother, it's going to matter. If it's one of my friends that has a whole lot of stuff going on, but she just wants to dig into me, it's not going to matter. So I don't know. It's just, I don't have a problem saying how I feel anymore. I don't. Good, bad, or indifferent. And I had a conversation with one of my colleagues last night. She called me, and she doesn't understand certain the certain respect that these kids have to have when they're coming out. They can't come out to their parents. So school has to be a safe space if they decide to. And you have to be careful how you talk to them, because sometimes it's a matter of life or death. I mean, the suicide rate because of kids that's in a closet, or they're afraid that their parents might know or find out. It's unbelievable. So sometimes I had to, I was really raw with her explaining how I felt. And then we exchanged back and forth. But she understood at the end that, you know what, I never looked at it like that. I'm glad you clarified that for me, because I'm looking at it as an administrator level, but not as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to take off those hats and you have to sit in front of this kid who is terrified that you're going to call their mother and father and tell them
Mm-hmm.
what just happened. You have to take off that hat and say, and sometimes you have to see yourself. Like, how would I take it? How would this happen? And so that conversation was like, it was eye-opening for both of us. You know, we hugged about it when we saw each other today because it was something that nobody had ever explained to her, to see how sometimes we're human. We're
First.
not, we're human and we have to see other people that way.
Mm-hmm.
Kids, children, adults, older people, you know, our seniors, and nobody's perfect. But we have to look at them in a and sometimes in a different lens and say, I have to look at this kid and say, okay, this could be me. This could be my
Mm-hmm.
son. This could be my daughter. Okay, we're going to work this out. That's hard, especially in high school. When I
Mm.
tell you it's hard, and that's not an easy phone call to make either, you know,
Yes.
depending on, because a lot of these kids are being raised by their grandparents. And when they're being raised by their grandparents, they don't want to hear that. They don't want
Mm-hmm.
to hear nothing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
nope, no, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that conversation that we had, it was open, and I felt like, okay, I'm glad I was able to say that to her. And then she didn't take it in a different way. She didn't take it like, what do you mean? You know, that I need to put my hat aside and be a human being towards this person. But she looked at it like, you were right. You know, I didn't see the human side of this situation. I looked at it like, look, I'm calling your mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then the kid is looking like, please, because you really don't know what's going on at her house.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Yeah,
know.
that's so true. Yeah,
She
that's
knows
so
what's
true.
going on at her house.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you put it out there like that, you have to look at it and say, look, you don't know what's going on at her house. You don't know what kind of situation you're about to put her in even more. We don't know. So it was I was I was glad I was able to be open with her and tell her exactly how I felt, because when she called me, and sometimes when people call you and they ask you for your opinion or about something, I'm like, okay, you ready? Because I don't know. Now you're asking me to tell you how I really feel. Okay, I'm okay with that. And I hope you can receive it that way, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how
Well,
that was.
you're clearly where you're supposed to be,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, because it's bigger than just being a reading coach,
Yeah, it
right?
is.
It's
It
it's
is.
it's who you inspire, who you can help, who you can say the right thing to at the right time,
At the right time.
including
Yeah.
the administrator,
Yeah. Exactly. Right. The
right?
person who
Yeah.
the person who has your job in her hand. Yeah. You know, you gotta think about that. You gotta think
Right.
about
I'm
that.
with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But it is, I think it's better to know where a person is coming from instead of having to guess.
Yeah.
Right. Um,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
so I think that's a wonderful thing when um, you can share that with someone and they can receive it.
Yeah. Yes. I do. I do. And it's a part of just being an adult.
Yeah.
You know, you're at that point where you can say, you know, like I said, it's a part of being free. It's a freedom that I'm embracing more than ever now. You know, it's and everybody may not be comfortable with it, but I'm comfortable with it because I know how to talk to people. And like I said, it's just it's your delivery sometimes. You
Always.
know, you never know what people are going through when, you know, even when that when I mentioned that my friend and her friend made that negative comment about her, I told her, and like I tell so many people because I heard it myself, sometimes you have to give people grace. And you don't really know what you would want to say. I know why she said this, or I know why he did this, and I know you want to say that, but you really don't know what's going on with them. And
Correct.
sometimes I have to say that to myself. Like I can, like I told you, I can say, "Oh, I'm not calling her anymore. I know I'm not.
Hmm.
I'm going to pray for her, and I'm going to pray that she and her family are okay. But I'm not. I feel okay with that." And I had to ask myself, are you giving her grace? Yes, I did, because this is more than one occasion. So the grace is the first time. But I mean, just really, just being human, you have to give people grace. You have to look at
Hmm.
them and say, you know what? She had a lot of bad things going on in her life. And right now she can't see the forest for the trees. And
Correct.
and she's looking at your life like, dag, when is my time coming? When is it gonna be me? And sometimes, yeah, that's a selfish thought, and that's not a good thing, to feel that way. But sometimes you have to look at the other side, like, and say, what if it was me?
Hmm.
You know, and that's
Hmm.
why, I mean, I read a lot of different things for self help. I really do, and the Four Agreements is one of my favorite,
Got
where
it.
you it really is hard to assume, but that's one of my biggest problems that I really had, was that if something happened, or somebody didn't call me back, or somebody didn't respond like I wanted them to respond, I instantly had that assumption that it was negative. It's never an assumption that is positive. The assumption has always been, oh, they must be mad at me about something. I used to think like that. I used to fill my mind with stuff like, okay. And then my sister would say, Gina, you're overthinking. You're an overthinker. Let it go. Let it go. So
But
I'm
the
constantly doing that. Hmm.
but let me just say the other side of that in terms of what I've found when I've done that personally is
Hmm.
that half the time, whatever the hell I was thinking, it was nothing like
It was
that.
nothing like that.
Right?
When I
I mean,
tell
yeah,
you,
I done built this whole story, right?
yes, the whole picture where everybody was, I mean, everything.
Right. Mhm.
And that is, and I really, I mean, when I got really into that book, because I was like, okay, I get it now. I
Yeah.
get it. It's like when you assume all that stuff. um Remember, I don't know if you remember when people say you assume something, you make a ass out of
Uh-huh.
you and me. But
Uh-huh.
it's more like you are consuming it. It's like this is remember, it's nothing like you think it is.
Right.
So you're just assuming, and so it's just touching the whole negative thing that's going inside your body, that's making you feel like it's making you sick, really. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those thoughts can make you sick. They can
Mm-hmm.
stress you out, and it's not even how it is. So I think I studied that part more so than any of the four. I'm like, I have to stop this assuming, because I haven't even seen this person. Now, why
Right.
why why are they mad at me? I had,
Right. Right.
who said they were mad? Number one, it's just something that it's like it's a satisfaction of saying, okay, I'm right. I'm right. I have no idea, but that's what I'm gonna go with, what I assume, and that's it. And come to find out, they were out of town and didn't have service, you know. So I'm like, okay, you know what I thought? Yeah, no, I don't want to know what you thought, because I know what you thought.
Right.
I know, I know. Look, I'm a work in progress,
We
period.
all
I
are.
am.
We all
I
are.
am,
Like,
the good,
part of the
bad, and
reason,
different.
you know, uh, part of the reason I do this podcast is because I want people to remember who they are.
Mm,
Remember your higher self.
mm,
Remember that God is giving you gifts. Remember
mm,
that you don't have to conform to all the negativity around you, right? You are the person who orchestrates your life. And the people who agree with the way you're moving will be on your team. And the people who don't, peace be with you. They're not your people. Or
Yep.
they may later come around to be your people. But we have to really understand that, we're here to be a service of each other and to be our best version of ourselves. And
Yes.
to do that, we have to take the time and energy to just stop and listen to what's within. Because
Yeah.
everything in our life starts from within.
Oh, yes. That's so true. All of that. I totally agree.
You know,
Yes. I'm so glad though. I mean, I'm really glad. I mean, this is just to listen to the other pods. I'm telling you, people go through things. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like, and they
exactly.
get up in the morning and they start their day, and it's like, oh my goodness, people have gone through this, and she's gone through that. I mean, just listening to your podcast alone, and it's like, wow, survivors, people that's, can put the good vibes out there about a negative situation, you know, no matter how weak you can be, it just shows God in them to me. If you
Always.
get through that, you can say, okay, that's the God in them.
Hmm.
Because there's no way they would be able to pull themselves out of that, even to get out of bed, even to see another day. You know what I mean? So it's like when people say to me, oh my goodness, you had a stroke. And I was saying to myself, a lot of people go through a lot more. It's some people that didn't even make it, and it's like sometimes when I talk to people, it's like it's nothing I did. It was nothing I ate. It was nothing that I used to drink water all the time, and that's how I made it through. His name is Jesus, and that's how I see it. And I see it in other people. I'm sorry, I have to say it. That's who it was. It was nothing that I did. And so, listening to your podcast too, you it's healing to have us come on there and tell our story. It's healing because when I finish with you, and then I hear my sister say, "Oh my gosh, Gina," or I hear people say, "I didn't know you went through that."
Hmm.
They had to see that it was God and it wasn't me.
Hmm.
And my favorite thing to say, and coming from the Bible, is that don't forget his benefits. Don't forget what I did for you. Don't
Hmm.
forget the miracles and the healings, and you know, let people know it can happen to you, and it can happen to you in a good way. It can happen to you in another way, but you're still gonna come on top. But just being able to just say how I feel on here, it's a good feeling. I mean, I've been on other podcasts, and I love being talking to on podcasts and stuff like that. I do, because I want to help somebody,
Hmm.
And like
Hmm.
I wanted to just be clear when you said you wanted to do a follow-up show. I wanted to be clear and say, look, I don't have this potion where my faith is always, I never waver. No, I waver a lot, and I'm scared a lot. But I know that I have to be the one to say, uh-uh, he did this for you. He did this for you. He did this. Remember, he did this for you, Gina. Remember, and I have to
Hmm.
keep, and now I understand why he says, remember my benefits. Because if you go through something like this again, remember what I did for you. And he'll do it again. And he'll bring you out. And that's what I try to keep telling myself, you know. So it feels good to be on your show and to talk about it and to listen to other lives that have been transformed by so many different things,
Yes.
to come out and be able to talk about it. It's nothing but God that'll give you that strength that just say, you can do it. It's gonna be all
Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah.
there's nothing that he puts you through that isn't for you. And when you come through, you inspire someone else. So the whole point of
Exactly.
just hearing everybody's journey
Yep.
is that someone else can look at someone else and say, wow, if they did it, I can too.
Right.
In the name of Jesus, right?
Then
And
the name
so,
of Jesus.
so I mean, and people just don't understand. We have everything we need.
Yeah. Yep.
We have everything we need.
Yep. It's,
And
you
until,
know what it is too? And sometimes it's the timing. You know, we want it when we want it. I
mhm.
saw something the other day that said, you know, we're worrying, trying to rush God, and he's working it out the way, putting people in, lining people up, moving situations around, and we're just worried about it. And oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? But it all works out. I'm sorry, my dog
Oh,
hears
no
me.
worries, no worries.
But
But
yeah,
to your point, G, this is what's really keen about that is that we always want something right now, right? We're in that microwave. Everybody wants things to happen quickly and everything. Well, he's
yeah,
omnipresent. He
yeah,
knows everything. He knows why he's not letting it happen right now. And then
yes,
how many times, let me just speak for myself. There's been many times I'm like, God, how much longer I got to, how much long I got to push through this. I just want to know. And then when I look back and I get
mhm,
what I need, I realize that I wouldn't have
mhm,
been ready for it then. I
right,
wasn't
right,
ready for it then. And
exactly,
that's the bottom line. He knows all things and all people and how everybody's moving. So if you
exactly.
could just have faith and trust in that, you'll be good.
You'll be good. Absolutely, I feel that.
Right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
He
Well,
just
I'm gonna ask you one more question, okay?
okay, okay,
And I kind of want to talk about your future aspirations because you said, and we touched on it a little bit earlier about you being a reading coach and considering, going back to school to get more education. But really, what are some of your long term goals? Like, what is possible for you now? Like in this new career, uh, what is the other branches? Are you seeing other branches that you can really branch out into? Because, and more importantly, does this feel like more of your purpose in life than you ever have had in the past?
yes. This whole education thing, um, I mean, like I say all the time, who would have ever thought that I would be here? Um, because I was money driven when I was younger, because I felt like I had to get this job. This job paid me almost six figures or more. And I just needed the money and just to be, in a stable situation. Um, but here it was a pay cut, but I feel fulfilled. I mean, I feel I'm happy
Yeah.
to go to
Yeah.
school. I'm happy to learn.
Hmm.
Um, right now, I like that my principal see things in me and pushes me because right now I'm in the process of co-teaching a English 4 class with another
Hmm.
English teacher.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh my goodness. So as far as being pushed and where I want to go, I want to continue to write. I want to continue to write books. I want to do that. And God willing, I will do that. But I am just looking forward to the next level of staying in education. I feel like that's what I want to do. I feel like I'm in a position where I can help somebody and I can feel it. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you get to a place where it's like you can really help somebody without giving them money. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to give them money for them to feel like, oh, she helped. No, when I go to school and I see my coworkers or I can see my the students and walk past me, say, Miss Jones, or I'm like, hey, how you doing? Or stop them, stop in the hallway. How was your weekend? And I'm just fulfilled with that. And I feel like that's how they say he'll make your later days in the Bible better than your earlier days. And I feel like I'm living I'm living that. I mean, things aren't perfect. You know, I still some things I need to work out and some things I
Mhm. Of course.
go
Of
through,
course.
but I have to get up every morning at 5:15, and I get up like I'm going to work. I'm feeling good. Like about 10 years ago, 5:15, sleepy. How much sick time I had. Like I'm looking at my phone, like, wait a minute, oh man, I only got my application for next week, you know. But
Right.
now it's like, I look forward to it. I mean, I think the drive where I am now, the school that I'm at now, Vivian T. Thomas,
Hmm.
Medical Arts Academy,
Hmm.
the teachers and the administrators want to help you grow. You know, it's like we're all helping each other, and I'm so glad that I started this career there because they're willing to help. They see something in you where it's like, okay, no, I want you to go a little further because I think you'll be good here. And I'll be there. But I'm still all over the place. I'm still helping here. I'm still helping there because that's the kind of school it is. You know,
Right.
we help each other out.
Got
And
it.
I just feel like I'm so grateful that this is where I am. I really am. I feel like I want to ride this one out to retirement. You know, I feel like if I can, that's what I want to do.
That's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful?
It is, and I feel so good about it. And my mother's my mother's you know, she's happier. You're a teacher. Gina's a teacher. Like, man, I know I'm not a teacher yet. I'm going to be a teacher, but it's just that whole thing. And my the weird part about it, my aunts, who's passed on, um, to be with the Lord, both of them, my Aunt Lil and my Aunt Gladys, they used to say all the time, you should have been a teacher. You remind me of a teacher, Gina. I mean, years and years and years. And before my aunt passed away in March, I was able to tell her, like, Aunt Lil, I'm at a school, you know, I might be teaching soon or something like. I knew it, Gina. I knew it. You know, she was 96 years old. Um, so it's just like, I just feel like this is where I want to be. I feel safe here. I'm happy here, and I'm learning. And I think it's never too old. You're never too old
Oh,
to learn.
absolutely not. We're supposed
You
to be
know?
learning to the day we die.
Yes.
You
And it's
know?
like, yeah, I told the coach, the teacher that I'm co-teaching with today, I said, look, you might have to tell me 2 or 3 or 4 times, but you should be okay with that. She was like, yes, I'm okay with that. I said, okay, because I'm gonna write it down, but we're gonna go through this. I'm just like, hey, take your time. We're gonna get this through this together. And that's all I needed. I needed
Got it.
somebody to say, hey, I
It's
got you.
gonna be okay.
You'll be
Right.
all right.
I got you.
Yeah, so it's just the best feeling. It really is the best feeling. I'm really
And I
happy.
can tell. I can
I'm
tell.
happy for myself. You know,
Oh,
I
that's
never,
wonderful.
you know, it kind of makes me tear up, but I'm happy for myself because I've gone through a lot. And you know, I didn't give up. You know, I could have just said, no, I'm just gonna stay here and get Social Security and that, you know, but the Lord allowed me to get up. I got something else for you. So I'm grateful.
He
Grateful.
allowed you to get up
Yeah,
because he knows what's in you, even when you don't know what's in you. He knows what's in you, right?
definitely.
And he'll
Definitely.
put you in places to bring it out of you,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I'm with
Yeah.
you 100%.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
G, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you taking the time. I'm so, so grateful for you taking the time.
Uh,
It's
Thank you.
been a joy as always.
Yes. Yes. You're one of
Thank
my
you.
favorite people.
You are one of mine as well.
Hey.
Oh my God. But I am so grateful for this opportunity again to come back on the afterthought. To answer just a few questions I wanted to really follow up on that I didn't ask initially, and I'm grateful for that. You know,
Oh,
it's sort of like the afterglow.
Yeah.
And right.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
And I'm just grateful. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully
Thank
we
you.
help somebody again today.
I
Again,
hope so.
the whole purpose of this podcast is for just to remind you
Mm-hmm.
that the best version of yourself is right there inside of you. And hopefully someone or something or say something to spark
Oh
you to
yeah.
keep moving towards the best version of yourself.
Yeah. God bless you. And this podcast, may it take you places that you never even thought,
Oh,
dreamed, or imagined. That's what I'm praying for you.
thank you so, so much. I truly appreciate you saying that.
Yep.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Mwah. Oh, wow.